Jeffrey Dahmer soaked in blood. The Unabomber blowing up. Waco, Texas, and Heaven's Gates. Aliens modified, meant for mapes. Hitler faked his death and then escaped. Bigfoot and the Mothman. Son of Sam talking to dogs again. Witches, ghosts, and goblins. Mysterious noise and hauntings. Dark arts in the skull and bones. Most celebrities are probably cloned. So if you're feeling all alone, crack a beer and get stoned. I welcome you to the podcast Strange Brew. We're here to entertain you. We're here to entertain you. It's about to get strange.
About a month ago, the U.S. Patent Office granted a patent to a Houston-based scientist, Dr. Bernard Eastland, for an invention which, Dr. Eastland says, could be used to change the weather. Dr. Eastland says the invention could also be used to disrupt communications all over the world and might be used to destroy or deflect a missile attack.
Mr. X's maniacs were in the U.S. Pentagon, and he was convinced they were conspiring to build Bernard Eastland's Sky Zapper under the guise of a nice little research project deep in the Alaskan bush called HAARP.
The basic concept is to build a very large antenna, then to utilize a large amount of power and to beam those radio waves up into the upper atmosphere.
Have you approached the Pentagon with this invention?
Yes, and what I'm not at liberty to tell you is the details of what that interaction has been.
The word spread through the Alaskan bush, and soon a band of suspicious Alaskans set out to warn people about what they saw as the U.S. military's secret agenda.
Spread through the Alaskan bush. Anyways, what do you call a deaf gynecologist?
What?
A lip reader. What?
I'll give it a
That
laugh.
was so good.
I meant to give it a laugh. Got stuck on the cricket, bud.
You're good. You're a tough cookie.
Yeah, so we know that. So it's funny when we get into some of these clips. There's a couple. Did you know who produced that first one?
The news.
CBC.
Yeah.
Before it was,
I was like, could you hear it?
Before it was a propagandized network paid by the liberals to tout their propaganda. Because, like, at the end of the day, right, CBC, the only reason CBC exists as it does today is because they paid for it, which if it's paid by the government means it's state-controlled media, right? So welcome to the show, everybody. I hope you have your tinfoil hats on.
You made me put it on.
Can you hear ours? We're wearing our tinfoil hats again.
I kind of like it.
It's fun. Every conspiracy episode, we're gonna throw one on because this will eventually lead into Project Bluebeam finally, where we connect all the dots. Because now we've talked about chemtrails, now we're on to HAARP. So I'm pretty excited for this. Surprisingly, Billy, this you were kind of excited for this.
I was. I wanted to do this for a while. Well, it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's a cool idea, and it's something that like pretty much not too many people can kind of say it's not real.
Yeah, because they're doing it, and they
that's what I mean. Like it's pretty like established.
That's what's crazy
real.
when people are like chemtrails don't exist or whatever, and then it's like there's like scientists on mainstream media.
Stop touching your hat.
I know.
You're
Mainstream media that is like, well, we're using cloud seeding. We're spraying stuff into the clouds to produce rainfall. And it's like, so you are doing it. There was a,
but I don't like the way you said it.
It's not chemicals, but it is chemicals. And even like there was a video. It's over Disneyland.
Okay.
And it's like people are like, if you think this is normal, you're fucking crazy. And it's just like covered like in X's all over the sky, just like pure chemicals. Like you look up and it's just the whole sky is filled with like chemtrails. They're like X's. And stuff like that. It's like wild. Just like planes constantly going over. And then obviously the people are inhaling that stuff, right? And that's
100%, yeah.
This is going to be a fun episode, and this is going to be something interesting because my tinfoil hat is not.
Yeah, well, you keep fucking up. Just leave it. It's fine. If you just don't touch it. Just don't touch it. You'll be fine.
We should try to like fuck with it and make like for the next time some like cowboy hat with it. I don't know. It'd be like so
a balloon
hard to
animal.
do that. Yeah, so you know how people like make sure I had duct tape and stuff. I got a buddy that made his suit for graded graduation out of duct tape, and he made like a rose out of duct tape, like red and green. That's a very Canadian thing for people.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But
I like that, the duct tape.
So the craziest thing, right? Like why, when I started down this journey of getting into conspiracy theories or trying to figure out what the truth was while I was questioning everything, this is the first thing that other than the government, you know, I've always been anti-government because of the music that I listen to, and you know, I never liked what they were doing to the people or during war or any of that stuff. Right? I always questioned like their motives, and this was HAARP was the very first thing that really got me into conspiracy theories. Thanks to a friend. You met him at the wedding, Christian. Yeah. I grew up with him and stuff like that. And he showed me, we're like talking, and we kind of got into looking up at the stars with binoculars and telescopes and seeing all these weird things changing. But he, on YouTube, I think it popped up back when YouTube was kind of cool. You know,
sick.
Like 13, 14 years ago.
Anything on there.
And like tons of conspiracy videos. And so we found out about Benjamin Fulthorpe, which we're going to get into a first clip, which is long, which I'm going to mute the mic. So if we want to talk a little over it to make jokes, we can.
Stop touching your fucking hat.
It's so hard, man. So let me just suck this in right here. There, suck it in. We look like a Hershey kiss.
It is. You told me not to make that joke.
Because we already made that joke. I'm drinking scotch.
I love scotch. I love scotch. Scotchy, scotch, scotch.
Shitty
Here
scotch,
goes down into my belly.
Dudes.
I just thought of like, especially for conspiracy episode, I'm just gonna do scotch and water, which is essentially like with club soda. But I went to the store and they only had sparkling water, and it tastes pretty much the same.
Isn't it the same? Isn't that what soda is? Sparkling water?
Soda.
Soda is just carbonated water.
Soda. Yes.
Mini soda.
But it has flavor to it, obviously. This one is like no sugar, no salt, which that's why I like. Why do so many things have sodium in it, man? It's like, do you know that salt is not as bad for you as they're saying it is, though? Like, especially like Himalayan salt and like Celtic sea salt.
Well, that's different.
Yeah,
that's not table salt.
No, table salt's a little different. But like real salt that's from the earth is good for you. Like your stomach, the acid in your stomach needs salt to dissolve food and stuff like that. So if you don't get enough salt, it actually fucks with your body.
My fucking grandfather he had no taste buds anymore, and assuming he smoked his whole fucking life. Yeah. Anyways, you have a thing of food, and I swear to fucking God, like a mound of salt on it. And I'm like, looking at him like, that looks horrible. Like, that doesn't look
I don't even know how that would add flavor.
It's just like just somebody wanting to taste something. And I guess like salt does it.
Do you think like the people in concentration camps like salted their bread, that they were given like the little portions of stuff?
To make them feel more full,
to make it tastier, because like bread by itself without butter is like,
I like bread.
Like trying to,
if it's good bread, fuck. If it's fresh bread, oh man, I'll eat the whole goddamn.
Oh, if it's like fresh, bread,
not like Wonder Bread.
Yeah,
that's different.
That shit's good with PB&J. That it's like
Wonder
just
Bread?
pure sugar. But man,
so
if you have like a white Wonder Bread PB&J,
don't be racist.
It's fucking so good. Yeah, who likes black bread? Seriously, man. Fucking burnt ass toast. I'm kidding. So HAARP is a little known yet critically important U.S. military defense program.
Just take off your fucking hat.
I know.
Take off your hat and it will fit.
Oh yeah, I don't want to take off
my hat. There you go.
Okay,
put it on. Now squeeze the back.
There we go.
There you go. There you go. Now leave it alone.
All right, I'm a fucking crackhead. Yeah, if you wanna cook, I look like those popcorn things. Pop, making the popcorn. Jiffy Pop? Jiffy Pop?
Yeah, Jiffy Pop.
You
make it on the stove.
Yeah. It's okay.
Anyways, carry on.
But which generated quite a bit of controversy over the years in certain circles. Though denied by HAARP officials, some respected researchers allege that the secret electromagnetic warfare capabilities of HAARP are designed to forward the U.S. military's stated goal of achieving the full spectrum of dominance. And it says in this article by the year 2020, but they were attempting to do it by then. We'll just add a 3 to that and do 2030 because that's the real push. And then if they don't achieve it, then it's gonna be like, we gotta achieve global tyranny by 2050. Keep pushing back, people. It's the only way we're gonna win this fucking war. The battle is not over yet. The war has just begun. So let's get into this clip by Benjamin Fulthorpe. It is just funny as like I'm thinking about myself as a 16-year-old kid watching clips of this. I'm sorry for the poor audio quality of this, but a lot of stuff like this has been scrubbed from the internet. Especially like him, or this guy, he was supposedly was on Forbes magazine. It was a rich guy. And then he started researching and exposing some of the stuff that was going on. So he moved to Japan, as far as I can remember. And then he said that like Henry Kissinger, George Bush Sr., all these people were trying to kill him for exposing some of the stuff. And this was, it's funny because now I listen to it, I'm like, oh, he's kind of like a nerdy, weird fuck. But like, this is one of the first people that I really researched and got into and was listening to his video before I discovered David Icke and George Calvisius, which that guy is George Calvisius, I think that's how you say his name, was this Australian guy that supposedly was abducted by aliens. I can't find anything about him anymore. And I used to watch all of his videos.
Really?
Don't know where he went. I don't know if he got abducted. Something happened to him,
gone.
but he's fucking not here anymore. So let's hear Benjamin Fulford talk about this.
Last year, I confronted Heizo Takenaka, the former Japanese finance minister, over why he handed over control of the Japanese financial system to a group of American and European oligarchs. He and his envoy told me that it was because Japan had been threatened by an earthquake machine. I did not believe it at the time. However, when I started exposing some of their doings, I was told by the Japanese security police that because of what I had said on places like Rents.com, that Niigata City was going to be hit by an earthquake. 2 days later, Japan's largest nuclear reactor was the exact epicenter of 2 earthquakes, both 6.8 in magnitude. And that was too much of a coincidence for me. So I started doing research and found out about HAARP, H-A-A-R-P. And I realized that they really did know how to make earthquakes. And they do it by shooting a 1 billion watt microwave into the ionosphere, which is the part of the atmosphere that has a lot of energy in it, that pushes the ionosphere up into outer space, and then it rebounds. And the way it rebounds can cause earthquakes. Just like an opera singer can break a glass by singing at a certain level, or by dragging your fingernails on a blackboard, you feel a weird sensation. If they adjust the vibration for the rock underneath their target site, they can do that. The same machine can also heat up subterranean water to cause earthquakes. And remember, a 1 billion watt microwave. What does microwave do to water? It heats it up. Now imagine if you put 1 billion watts into a tropical storm. You could make it much bigger, and you could change the direction it flows in. You know how there's high pressure zones and low pressure zones. Well, high is hot and low is cold. And the hot flows into the cold. And vice versa when there's more of the cold. So they can heat up an area and cause it to flow into a next door area. In other words, these people are capable of creating the cyclone that hit Myanmar, the tsunami that hit Indonesia, and the earthquake that hit China. And now after the earthquakes hit Niigata, a member of the Inagawa crime family, which is based in around the U.S. Yokosuka Air Base, and members of the Inagawa family have told me that their big boss is George Bush Sr. In other words, they work for Skull and Bones. And they invited me to a so-called UFO gathering where they showed me the video of this blob. They told me it was a UFO, but it was obviously, to me anyway, a plasma weapon, or a ball of heat created by something like a 1 billion watt microwave. And I predicted in my blog that there would be videos of lights found above China before the earthquake. And those videos then appeared on the internet after I predicted they would. And furthermore, a Taiwanese satellite detected a 50% drop in the ionosphere, in the amount of electric energy in the ionosphere above the earthquake zone. Now, a 50% drop would be exactly what would happen with HAARP. It would push the ionosphere up. And and then it would slam back down. So it looks like the insane criminals who have taken over the U.S. government are killing people and threatening people with earthquake weapons. It doesn't look like it. I actually have some of the proof.
So crazy. That was some of the first stuff to actually wake me up. And HAARP was the very first conspiracy theory that I really dove into. And I believe him. Like Benjamin Fulford, people think he's fucking crazy. But people think David Icke's crazy. David Icke's been right so many times. And I bring him up a lot because I've been listening to a lot of his viewpoints on the war and what's going on. Because I kind of trust David Icke because I've spent like 13, 14 years listening to him, and a lot of the stuff he said is happening. And this whole idea is like what I've said before is the whole thing he preaches is about love, about the only thing that will ever change this world is if we unite and come together. Even when during the Palestinian and Israeli conflict, he posted a picture about like, I imagine a world where people wake up and realize we're all the same kind of thing. And then like a Jewish kid and
everyone holds hands.
Yeah. Like, and that's the idea is like, obviously we have these oligarchs and these people these families that have been puppeting and orchestrating things around the world for years. And like even homie from Reality Czars posted something about like, he's like, the more I research war, the more I think that they're all been orchestrated by the elites. And I was like, yeah, 1,000%. I've always thought that, you know? So this is pretty interesting. It's just crazy that guy, don't know where he is now, but he said some crazy shit like that. Like Japan has like an Illuminati, like the States does, but it's kind of fighting against their Illuminati. It's like somewhat like a secret
Illuminati battles.
Yes, like a secret, secret society battles.
You can make a fucking sick movie out of that.
Oh, just wait, because I said on the episode I did with Brett, me and Brett talked about the prediction by Albert Pike of World War III, and people say that it was an anti-Freemason dude, this French writer that actually said this, but the way they predicted, according to this letter that's supposed to be Albert Pike wrote, we don't know if he did. People think it's propaganda, but even if it was, the fact of how it's structured and how it was structured in the late 1800s, it predicted all three wars either way. So it is interesting because I said that. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3, and 3 is
to be determined.
Yes,
TBD.
To destroy. And they said this to have the Zionists and the Muslim, because that's how I would put it, not Muslim, Muslim, the Arabic world destroy each other, and essentially they'll destroy each other, and then people, and it said people will be so divided that they will be exhausted economically, physically, mentally, and all this shit, and that this will bring about the Luciferian religion of the New World Order and stuff, essentially. And who knows if it's true at all, but it definitely seems like whoever wrote that knew. And that's why we say, like I said on the episode with Brett, is like that. And Brett was kind of just like more or less listening to me. Okay. And like adding, he was like, but at near the end, because there's a lot of information, I was just wanting to like talk about it. And it was fucking last Saturday at like 11. So we were just drinking coffee, talking about like some pretty extreme shit, because even talking about war that early is.
It's a little early. A little early for war.
Yeah, but
you
like
need a beer before.
Yeah,
war.
100%. And so we drank coffee with rum in it. But I just want to start breaking down some of the stuff that I think is valid to talk about. And I said that I want to start really diving into conspiracy stuff. So at some point, once we, because next thing we're going to do is we're going to get back into true crime, because we've been neglecting the murder and mayhem of our favorite serial killers. It's going to get exciting, man. I'm going to be fucking hard the entire time we talk about some of these serial killers.
That's nice to know.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Stiff with knowledge. But I have an episode written out ready to go about secret societies that I'd like us to talk about. It's some of the information, to me, if it's true, is fucking nutty. So crazy if it's true. So crazy, it has to be true. God, ever since they would fucking... Okay,
got too much shit on that board.
I know. So obviously they deny HAARP, and it could be used as a military weapon. Others go so far to claim that HAARP can and has been used to for weather modification to cause earthquakes and tsunamis. I always don't like the tsunami is spelled with a T. To disrupt global tsunami. I just don't like that. That's not cool. Okay, it's not cool.
English sucks.
Yeah, but like.
But what?
I don't know. Would it be better to be like speaking in Chinese or Japanese. It was like Japanese.
Japanese.
Oh, she's got some Japanese to drop it. Drop this Japanese to the floor. But because they like drawing pictures and every little little thing is like a different.
Seems exhausting, but they can get like a paragraph out in like this.
I know one word. It's like one Chinese symbol, right? It's like a fucking whole sentence and shit. Yeah. So let's just really dive into this crazy thing.
Mm-hmm.
When did you first hear about HAARP? From me, or was it?
No, fuck. It was before that. I think I watched a documentary.
Because before, when YouTube, you could just stumble upon.
I want to say it was like right when Netflix first came out. So maybe around like 2010, 2009.
What a time to be.
That was probably, I think that's when I first heard of it.
Scotch,
Netflix used to have really cool stuff on it too. When it first came out, it was like everything and anything, just like to pique your interest. And then, it started getting.
I wonder if I want to watch this documentary called Born in Gaza. And I don't know if it's still on there, but it was a Netflix thing because like there's so much divide. But I don't know. I don't trust Israel. I don't trust either side, but I especially don't trust Israel because they have the most complex surveillance system the world has ever known. And don't really trust Zionists, just so people have understanding. It's nothing to do with Jewish people, but Zionists are not good. I don't care what you think. They're not good people.
Not your favorite, eh?
No. It is the whole idea of like, oh, we're just going to commit atrocities because we have the right to defend ourselves. And then it's like, I laughed because there was this meme where it's just like, it's leftists and someone on the right, right? Because I don't believe in either side. It's just like, it
was one of the that ways and that ways.
Yeah. It's just like, we believe that Ukraine has the right to defend themselves and kill indiscriminately. And then it's like the right side. It's like, we believe that Israel has the right to defend itself and kill indiscriminately. And it's just like, oh, the first time that the left and right fucking actually agree on something. Let's just murder people for the sake that they murdered other people. It's nonsense. There's bombing indiscriminately.
Vengeance is real.
Yeah. Watch the new Batman movie, man. He learned that it wasn't vengeance he needed justice, not vengeance. But we don't live in a world I did a video where, I was just like, your vote will never matter in a world where there is no accountability. Because it's true. Because if we had accountability, Biden would be in jail and so would Trudeau. If we actually had accountability for any of these people in power that they just pay everything off, they would be in jail, especially Biden. Trudeau's got tons of scandals, which he would probably be at least kicked out of office and all of politics. But Biden they run a crime family. It's a crime family. Trump's probably bad too, but hey, Biden's definitely a criminal. So, and he's not in jail. All the shit they do with Ukraine and them sending over money and
makes sense. Dude. They took down. Deals. I just watched. I was just obsessed with it's a super short documentary on Netflix. I just watched it. Taking down John Gotti.
Did you like it?
It was fucking great.
All right, I might check
a great talk. It was just 3 episodes. They're 40 minutes each.
We could talk about that at some point. Like the mafia would be cool.
It was super cool. It was super cool how many times he got away.
Yeah.
They trialed that. They had the FBI, the OTFC, and also the drug task force.
The ATF.
The ATF. Is it the ATF?
Oh, the
OTF. The OTF.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They had all of them individually trialing him. So they went to 3 trials, 1 from each category, and then they all band together and they finally got him.
We'll eventually talk about the mafia. I specifically want to talk about the Karzarian mafia, the one that we can't talk about.
You can talk about anything.
Yes, we're gonna do what we do.
I'm internet warrior. I can talk about anything.
But 100%, and that's there's gonna be specifically some episodes that will be on the audio and Rumble. Like the Karzarian mafia episode, we will not be able to put on YouTube. There's no way they'll allow.
You don't think so?
Yeah, people think it's anti-Semitic, even though it's just based on
this guy's an anti-Semite.
Yeah. Just like they labeled David Icke for calling out the Zionists. So suck in my balls. But there's gonna be episodes
that's a bit of okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't give a shit.
That just kind of played in a little bit.
It did. But the idea is right, the whole idea of this show is we're not for the easily offended, right? I want to talk about what I think is interesting. And
I want to make racial jokes.
And I want to say whatever I want, right? I was going to say something bad. Let's not do that. But the major aspects of the program are kept secret for alleged reasons of national security. And that's always what it is. It's like, don't question us. We're doing this for your safety. You know, yet there is no doubt that HAARP and electromagnetic weapons are capable of being used in warfare do exist. That's why it's funny that Benjamin Fulford, and that video is like pretty old. Like if I watched that video when I was like 17, it probably was already out for. So that video is probably from like 2010, maybe before that, when he was kind of gaining traction. Because it is crazy how YouTube used to be. Very free, open platform where people could post all sorts of stuff that maybe was crazy and maybe not true, and some stuff that was probably really true, and that's why it was taken off. Right? But it was like a Wild Wild West. It wasn't like anything too crazy, but you could find a bunch of fucking documentaries. Now,
there's some crazy fucking shit. When YouTube first came out, there was like live murders on that.
Yeah, it's fun. So the thing
like
is,
literally people videotaping killing other people.
I'm trying to get Jeremy McKenzie on the show. I would love to do that. He's a veteran in Canada. He's very outspoken. He's called the Raging Dissident, and he like does not like the government. Was a veteran, spoke very openly against the stuff. He was charged during the Freedom Convoy stuff because he created Diagonalon, which is essentially like the idea that I think it's Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba want to form their own country or whatever to get away from crazy Ottawa. And he made up this joke about Diagonalon, the line that goes across. I think that's how it goes. And then he got charged like trying to like make a terrorist group, but it was a joke for his like podcast, and they like took it seriously. So now he keeps pushing it. And he's interesting because the way he talks about stuff that's going on and his knowledge and his experience, and he has like no filter. He calls out the conservatives like I do and stuff like that. Both sides. Like I did a video calling out Pierre Poilievre, and people did not like it. And then I had to do a video.
They need someone to save right now.
Yeah, I know. They need a hero. And I was just gonna say Albert Pike, that Freemason that me and Brett talked about, said when they need a hero, we shall give them a hero. So it's the idea that when people are desperate, they'll look to somebody to save them, right? And I did like a video on this, and then I had to do a video where like, just because I criticize one politician does not mean I'm for the other. It's nonsense that people are like, you must love Trudeau then. And it's like, no, I don't like any of them. This is my issue.
I'm not a fan of this whole
divide and conquer. But it's just, I don't know. It's just crazy because Jeremy McKenzie talks about the idea like that we should be shown some of the atrocities that are happening in Gaza so people understand the levity of the situation. There's bad things going on both sides.
Out of curiosity, this is more of a joke than anything. The curiosity, just because trends are trends, obviously it's always liberal, conservative. Could you imagine like the amount of grit that it takes to stand up there as the Green Party and go, this is our fucking year.
I know.
We're winning this shit. And it's like, you have 2% of votes. Be like, not next year, we won't. Next year will be the majority.
I know. It is crazy. And they say crazy shit too. But like, even like, I've always said that I'm more libertarian if I was going to choose an affiliation with politics, but I'm more of an anarchist. But like,
I find myself becoming more and more conservative by the day.
Yeah, because they're giving you a solution in a way.
Not even just that. Just like, I was always like pretty hard liberal, and I find myself kind of going.
Because listen,
not with the weight, not with the people in power, just with the ideology in general. And I'm just
there's no liberals anymore. They're not actually liberals.
That's true, and that the conservatives are becoming closer to the fucking center.
It is funny because the left has gone so far left, like bad, like communist. Because there's the idea is like far left is communism, far right is fascism. But yet if they kind of meet in the middle, if you understand how the ideologies work, right? It's all about people controlling other people. But now the left has gone so far left that now the conservatives are more centrist because like if they were real conservatives, they would be against abortions technically. Because of the way that the ideology is set up. But I say we need a libertarian party, and someone told me to make one, and I was like, how do I do that? Because people tell me like you should get into politics, and I'm like, do you really want me to? I don't know if that's a good idea. I'd be like Maxime Bernier, which I think the PPC.
That actually, I'd vote for you. That'd be so fucking funny. I'd be like, Tom, can I have a plane?
Yeah. And then it'd be like this crazy guy that believes in lizard people.
I want perks. I'm in jail again. I committed tax fraud.
At the end of the day, I think that Maxime Bernier would do better than some of the other politicians. I don't even trust him. But he's the only one speaking about mass immigration. So, and obviously with conspiracy episodes, we're gonna get in these little talks. But I do think that people should get into politics. People should know about the atrocities that are happening overseas, because I don't know, it could be propaganda, but there was video footage of like Israelis like clapping and cheering to them hearing bombs go off in Gaza and stuff.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm like, that's fucking great, man. It's just like if
there was one. I was just driving.
Death and war, you are pathetic.
I was just driving down Milton, and this one guy has his like he's walking his dog across the bridge, and his dog must have been like max 2 pounds.
Yeah.
He was a big dude, and he was just like walking his little dog with a giant Israeli flag over his shoulder, and he's just walking back and forth on the bridge. I was training a buddy, and he like looks over, and he's like, what a big difference that guy's made.
I know. The whole hashtag thing, it's like the idea, I'll say this one last thing. If you really believe in this war and you want this war, anybody on either side, then go over there and go fight then.
Go fucking help.
Go help. That's what I like. There's one guy that dressed up like Bob Ross, and he was like, you know, all you people that want to support Ukraine, because this is like years ago when that war first popped off.
Yeah.
And he's like painting like the Ukrainian flag, and he's like, you know what, the best thing you can do? You can get on a plane and you can go fight for them. He did it like so calmly, and he calls out like Biden for all the money that he's made from the war and stuff like that. But he's like, if you know your hashtags, you know, actually do something, you know, go over there and fight with them. Because he's like, the best thing, you know, you can do that if you want to, but nobody's gonna.
Well, I love it because the whole idea is there's a problem, and it's like, okay, the first step is awareness. It's get everybody aware of what's going on, and yes, hashtags and stuff like that work.
Yeah.
And then past awareness, you can't end at awareness.
No.
And they're like, well, just make them even more aware.
I don't
more.
more.
I don't want to go to step 2. I like step 1.
As I've said time and time again, I don't believe in war. I believe it's orchestrated by the elites. I think that there's people in Israel that hide behind groups of people so they can't be criticized. And there's been always this connection of Israel and the United States. Beast 1333, a very knowledgeable rapper, talks in 2000. It's like he's like the 2013. We're at the brink of 2013. The change is upon us, and he's like, we must stand up to the totalitarianism of Israel and the United States. And this is like years and years ago. And like 2010, when he made this song, like in 2012 or whatever. I think he wrote it in 2011 or 12 or whatever. But it's just interesting because I've always known for my entire life to question both sides, right? And war is not a good thing. War is used for population control, money laundering, and child trafficking. 60,000 children have went missing from Ukraine. So, and it's going to keep happening. I know. So whatever, we'll just keep this going. So
Jesus Christ.
So obviously they could be used for warfare. And it's funny that Benjamin Fulthorpe talks about plasma weapons, which how old that probably was, and now there's the idea of what was causing the forest fires and shit. Who knows, right? But HAARP, an acronym for High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, is a project having the goal of studying fundamental physics, physical principles.
FRAP.
High frequency.
HF.
Oh yeah, it is weird. Aurora. Active Auroral Research. Yeah, why they just took out the
They're
F.
like, we don't like that because then it'd be a
we need a good acronym. So physical principles which govern the religions of the Earth's atmosphere, known as the ionosphere, or if you're a flat earther, they're just shooting beams off the fucking dome back down.
Right off the dome, boy.
It is through this region that the Earth-based communications and radar transmissions must travel to reach satellites or to probe solar or planetary bodies and conserve whatever, and for radio signals from outside the immediate environment to reach its surface. The idea of like they're just bouncing it off of the ionosphere, right? And it is also from these ionized layers that radio waves reflect to achieve over the horizon communication and radar systems. They kind of, I think that the idea they use the ionosphere to bounce off radio frequencies.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know any of this is real. I don't know if maybe the Earth is fucking flat.
Buddy, I don't even understand radio frequencies.
The proposed research will be undertaken using high power radio transmitters to probe the overhead ionosphere, combined with the the complement of modern scientific diagnosis instruments to investigate the results of the interaction.
Okay, so
how they're bouncing, they're just like investigating how these radio frequencies are bouncing off the ionosphere.
I'm gonna say this now before like I forget, but somebody's got to be on board with me about this. In what fucking world did somebody at one point in time in history looked at somebody else and they went, I got an idea. Like, what's your idea? And he's like, I'm gonna make something that goes into air and then goes back to you, but nobody can see it.
I know, it's fucking.
And I'm like, fucking what? And they're like, watch.
I know, like the idea of like microwaves,
like a
right?
A phone is still the craziest fucking shit to me.
Wi-Fi, how we can't see Wi-Fi, gamma rays, ultraviolet. I got into
it is the most fucked up shit to me. I don't understand science at the same time, but as a basic person, to like, for how common it's just been, like everyone's like, yeah, it's Wi-Fi. It's just like, are you not blown the fuck away by how this works?
I got an argument with a guy at work about microwaves and how they cause radiation and the cancer, and he's like, they're microwaves. I was like, yeah, that causes radiation and can give you cancer. Because it's just funny because I was like, I don't mind him, but he obviously, when he started getting comfortable at the workplace, he started like question me or whatever, and I just said like, I was talking about fluoride and then the microwave. I was like, that depletes like half the nutrients in the food. I never use a microwave.
It's fucking more than that. So something like Danny taught you that.
Yeah, I know. And then I started looking into it and the whole idea of like fluoride. And he was like, well, I don't drink fluoride either. I have a good filtration system, but I ask for more fluoride when I go to the dentist. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. All right, I'm going for lunch. Bye-bye. Like,
that really adds up. Right?
You fucking, like, I don't know. There's all these people that think that like the biggest flaw that an intelligent person can have is to think they're smarter than everybody else. One thing I do is I just question everything, even myself. And that's why I say on the show all the time, I don't know what the fuck is real or not. I don't think I'm real, man.
To be fair, that is a very new Tom. Let's be real on the show here.
Yeah.
For many years, you just assumed you were smarter than everybody.
Well, I was right about a lot of things. So, but like mushrooms have helped me bring down my ego a little bit. But the fact that I know there's people out there that were like, oh, Tom was talking about this when COVID and stuff happened and they became authoritarian. I'm sure there's people out there like, oh, Tom doesn't look so crazy now. And I'm like, well,
I hope so.
Make everybody an Alex Jones, right? That's what Alex Jones says. He's like, everybody's an Alex Jones now. He's like, it's just because if you make everyone speak out and fight against this shit, then good. And like I said, like there's a lot of negative aspects about the world and some of the shit we talk about even. But like when I was a teenager, if you told me that like I would have an app where thousands of people listen to my opinion and they mostly agree on what I say, I would be like, no way. Or like that all these people were waking up and seeing through the bullshit, like thousands of people. And that's why they want to ban TikTok so bad, because it's so easy to, even if it's propagandized material, it is so fast and easy to discredit the mainstream media's bullshit, right? So this is like pretty interesting. So HAARP would be constructed at auroral latitudes in Alaska. They're supposed to be one in Greenland, I think we'll get to and stuff like that. A unique feature of the research facility would be a high-powered, high-frequency radio transmitter with the capability of rapidly steering a narrow beam of energy towards the designated region of the sky. So it can kind of use and bounce it off and then, like Benjamin Fulford said, like make a storm worse or whatever, right? Similar, though less capable, research facilities exist today at many locations throughout the world and operate routinely for the purpose of scientific investigation of the ionosphere. And such systems are located in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. That's how I'm going to say it. Fairbanks, Alaska. Other installments are at
far enough from people, like a little bag. Okay, and then the Puerto Ricans aren't paying attention to
no, they're all doing coke and shit. I know.
Put it right in the fucking city, right beside the bar.
Yeah, chasing the chupacabra.
Like, what was that? I don't know.
That's why I'm like the fucking I've noticed like 5G towers are went up everywhere. It's fucking weird, in my opinion. I don't think it's good for us. But like on the way to Woodstock, Ontario, for everybody that will understand where that location is, as you go into Woodstock, there is a 5G tower on somebody's like property, and they must have fucking had to talk to them and sell them on it and probably paid them out.
Oh, they probably paid them a fuckload.
But even if, I don't know, man, even if someone was like, oh, we'll give you 50 grand, I'm like, my kids might turn into mutants. Like, do I do it? Like, it's a lot of money.
If it's like farmland properties, though, you mean, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's like a
Well,
no,
that's
it's not too farmy.
I was gonna say
Like
if he's growing food.
No, it's not a farm. It's like a house, but they have a decent property, little barn, and the 5G tower's right beside the barn. And I'm like, I'd like to see you guys in like 50 years and just see how you look and how you feel, or if you're even still fucking alive. Because I don't think being next to, because they can't put up trees, because if it's next to a tree, the tree will block out the signal and stuff like that. So I don't even like all those stupid all the wind turbines, and they'd be generated by diesel to get them going, generators, and then they kill a bunch of birds and have to cut down a bunch of trees.
Think like how much I never really looked into it, but like how much worse, let's say, would it be to be right next to a 5G tower versus like, let's say it was like 4 blocks away. 4 blocks away is still fucking close. Like that's still fucking close.
So there's other installments in Tormaso, Norway. Sorry if I mispronounced Moscow. I'm not gonna.
I thought HAARP was an American thing.
You know, it's all over.
Oh, I thought HAARP was an American
research
thing.
Facilities.
Oh,
Moscow and Nizhny Novgorod.
Nailed it. I'm sure.
Apatiti.
Fuck yeah, Apatiti. Oh yeah, bud.
Apatiti. Russia. This is all in Russia. Russia has tons. Okay. Also in Ukraine, Karzakova, whatever. Pronounce this for me. Dan Shanaby. I've never heard of this place in my entire life.
Dushanbe.
No. Okay. What about this one? Tad
Ziki. I want to need to look over.
Tad Zihakai Stan.
Tajikistan.
Tajikistan. Man, there's so many stands out there, eh?
Oh, okay, so it's like half off.
Tajikistan.
Okay, so Dushanbe, Tajikistan.
The Shambi, Tajikistan. And there's Pakistan. And then there's, where's Borat from?
Someplace that's very nice.
it's like with a fucking K or something like that.
Kazakhstan,
yeah, which is real.
Which is real, if you didn't know.
I didn't know it was real. When I first watched that movie, I was like,
Kazakhstan?
It came out when I was 12 or something, 13.
Oh, I thought, okay, never mind.
You know, that's and like, fair. I remember, I'll never forget going to see theaters with the buddy Chris that I mentioned earlier. And we went to theaters, and there was these girls flirting with us. And they were closing our eyes. They were behind us in the theater. And during the part where Borat's fighting his buddy naked, these chicks like put their hands over our eyes to cover them because we didn't want to see a bunch of man peepees.
Not Borat peepees. I'd cover my fucking eyes too.
But it was just funny. And I always thought like Kazakhstan was a fake place because like how could he make fun of it the way that he is?
It's just funny.
But he also got a bunch of Texas people to cheer for the killing of Jews. So that's always fun.
That's a fun time.
In that Ill Bill line where he's like, other places I would have been raised in a useless format. In Texas, they dream about hunting Jews as Borat. It's crazy. Because like I said, human beings are human beings, and a religion is used to divide and conquer. HAARP is a scientific endeavor aimed at the study. And this is according to the official HAARP website.
Okay.
HAARP is a scientific endeavor aimed at the studying the properties and behavior of the ionosphere, with particular emphasis on being able to understand and use it to enhance communications, surveillance systems for both citizens and defense purposes. And they like obviously like I don't trust the defense system shit, and like the whole idea of like if you trade freedom for security, you should get neither. Like everything we've been sold on is this idea of like problem, reaction, solution, right? Love that. David Icke, man, the best. But I don't know, he got that definitely from somewhere else. But the idea of like the government creates a problem.
Mm-hmm.
They need the public to react to it and actually demand that there is something done about it. So then the government's like, oh, okay, we've had something in the works for quite a while now.
Actually, we got something ready for you.
You know,
that being said, though, like it's such a slippery slope. It's to the point of like, at what point do you get rid of everything and then it just becomes like unlawful? So like there is a line. There's a fucking fine line where like the people need to be put in the fucking line and have some sort of fear that you're not allowed to walk outside and do whatever the fuck you want to do to anybody.
If I really believe of a government formed and governed by the people, by the majority, which we don't have now.
Which I feel like we could, but people are such bitches.
We're not in a democracy. We're in a republic. If you look up the definitions of it, we're in a corrupted republic. We're not actually in a democracy. And I've been listening to a lot of Howard Zinn, reading his books lately and stuff like that, really diving into the history. And people didn't like him because he criticized the United States and called out their bullshit and their war crimes and atrocity. How come the United States is able to fucking set up shop in every fucking corner of the earth?
Because they're one of the most powerful countries in the world.
But if Russia did that, it'd be like, no!
Well, anything that goes against the States.
I know. Well, weird. And then soon it's going to be China's the superpower and we'll all be speaking Chinese.
States is pretty much a superpower. States is pretty much.
Have you seen
like
their military?
The States military?
Yeah, it's going downhill because they want to be woke.
Is States being woke?
Yeah,
or is it secret
there
military?
was a fucking Ukrainian.
Oh, maybe they're just like, you know what? We don't have those things anymore. Come get us. And they'll fuck you up.
There was a military Ukrainian representative from the United States in Ukraine, and it was a trans person. And it's like, that's going to be real fucking scary for the people in Russia. Real scary. Fucking weird trans person. I'm not going to get into that because I will get us taken off YouTube.
Yeah, no shit.
But it is kind of funny because Brett made a point. He's like, who do they send off to war? And I was like, a bunch of gullible people or something, whatever. And he was like, he made the point, like, why would they send these people? And I'm like, oh, it's the strongest men and women now, right? So they want to deplete the strong-willed man,
people,
right? The people that would fight against this. And that's why they made toxic masculinity, because masculinity is not toxic. They wanted to feminize men, which I said in my new song that's out now, The Great Resist. So go check it out on Spotify and YouTube Music and all.
To be fair, women also wanted to feminize men.
Yeah, it's true.
That's not just the government.
Feminism to an extent. I think that the idea that everyone should be equal to an extent, but men and women are different. But I digress. But they are different. You'll never convince me otherwise, man. Men are stronger. No,
I just like the way you said it.
Yeah.
I mean, your exact fucking line was, "We're equal to an extent. Like we're different. Men and women are different, but like, yeah, we got you. We're equal."
I want to see women put up fucking skyscrapers and shit. Then talk to me.
Some of them do.
Yeah, one girl that's like, look at me and my job. I'm on my digger.
I'm on my digger.
Excavator or whatever. Sorry, I'm
saying the boys.
Right now. But there's a big difference, and I think without strong men, the world will collapse. So who created HAARP? Dr.
Okay, this is getting bad.
But that's what, like, in my head is like Dr. Bernard Eastland is a scientist whose name is associated with the creation of the development of HAARP and HAARP project. And his revealing website, it provides relative information and reliable information on his involvement with the project. An 1887 patent was issued by Dr. Eastland, titled Method and Apparatus for Altering a Region in the Earth's Atmosphere, Ionosphere, and Magnetosphere.
Oh, okay.
Here are the cue statements before we play a video, taken verbatim from the patent. The temperature of the ionosphere has been raised by hundreds of degrees in these experiments. That's probably not a good thing. A means and method is to provide to cause an interference with or even totally disruption of communications over a large portion of the earth. This invention could be employed to disrupt not only the land-based communications, both civilian and military, but also airborne communications and sea communications. This would have a significant military implications. It is possible to take advantage of one or more such beams to carry out such communications of communication networks, and even though the rest of the world's communications are disrupted. So he's saying that, like, the whole point of this at the beginning was used to disrupt communication during warfare and all that stuff, or even us. Imagine if they used HAARP to just like shut off communication, so all of a sudden some war breaks out or some crazy event, and then they can just cut us all off, right? If something like happens to that, drive here, because then we'll all drive to Brett's, and then we'll fucking do some crazy shit.
No one needs to know where Brett lives.
No, they will never know where he lives because there's no internet. But the idea is like, if something happened like that, I would want.
Hey, I'm ready.
I'm
ready to pop up my tooth and fucking fuck up some people.
We'll give you like a straw hat and
get off my property.
Yeah, you need like that would be a very funny costume. Is if you were like a hick because you could pop out your tooth and wear overalls, white shirt, overalls, and a ratty wig. Is like kind of what you need to look like and you got.
I don't even know where I could just wear like a straw sombrero.
Yeah. One of those, right? And shoot some wheat. Say you fuck your cousin. Kidding, everybody, but not really.
Kidding, but not really. Fuck you.
Not talking about you. I'm talking about just. Never mind. This invention can be used to advantage for the positive communications that eavesdropping purposes that can spy on people. Extending large amounts of power can be very efficient to produce and transmit. This invention has a phenomenal variety of potential future developments. Large regions of the atmosphere could be lifted to an unexpected high altitude so that missiles could encounter unexpected and unplanned dragged forces with the result of destruction and deflection. He says they can use HAARP to deflect missiles, which we'll get into on the video we're going to play. Weather modification is possible by, for example, altering upper atmosphere winds patterns and alternate solar absorption patterns by constructing one or more plumes of atmospheric particles, which will act as a lens or a focus device, ozone, nitrogen, etc. Concentrations in the atmosphere could artificially increase. So they can use it for fucking climate change.
I'm still blown away. Like thinking about stuff like that. I'm still off the fucking like the whole idea of whoever the fuck invented the telephone, the guy from Brantford. Anyways, but Alexander Graham Bell. Anyways, like even stuff like this, like who without knowledge, nobody taught them. They looked up and they went, that's this particle, that's that particle, those two particles.
I know.
Like the amount of experiments needed to come up with something like that.
How do they
is
know?
Unfucking believable.
But how do they know how the human body works in some regard? Cutting it up and
fucking believable.
Right? So like, and the idea of like, if you look at Nikola Tesla's.
Oh, actually, but I had something funny to say to your thing. When you said they can use to deflect missiles, all I thought about is like a Animaniacs skit. Oh, yeah. Where it's like they got the missile coming from China, and then the U.S. is like, nope, and they shoot it back, and then they keep shooting it back, and they're like, fuck you, you'll get tired before me.
That's fucking fun. Back when cartoon shows were
Animaniacs was dope.
But there's like a lot of hidden Illuminati propaganda and it's weird, man. There's some weird shit. So let's put this clip before we carry on, because I found this pretty interesting to say at least. Another taken from this documentary.
We didn't do the number 2 one.
That's what we're doing right now.
Oh, I thought you were going to click number 3.
I think as soon as I saw the references to Tesla's work, and when I read Bernard Eastland's original patents, I realized that what we really had here in Alaska was a prototype for a ground-based Star Wars weapon system.
HAARP is a non-classified project run not by Bernard Eastland, but by the U.S. Army and Navy. The official HAARP story is told by one man, John Heckscher.
It consists of several types of transmitting instruments and numerous scientific instruments that study the natural ionosphere and the ionosphere that has been perturbed by the instruments that we are building.
The ionosphere is a sea of electrically charged particles in the upper atmosphere, and the instrument is a powerful radio wave transmitter.
Does it have any military applications?
The site itself is strictly a scientific research site. Perhaps the outcome of some of the science, perhaps some of the results could be applied in a military systems.
Like this guy.
Just a little physics project? Jim Roderick isn't buying it. He's been gunning for the real goods on HAARP, and his weapon is the internet.
The military is incapable of doing pure science. Science is conducted by them for application in weapon systems, for no other reasons.
From his shack in the middle of an Alaskan village, Jim and his co-conspirators around the globe have been tapping into databases. They've dredged up hundreds of long-buried scientific reports and even some internal documents from the military. They call it the world's first techno-protest, and they did it all on the military's own baby, the net.
Plans for HAARP activities correlate with projections of what can be done in the Eastland patents. It's that simple.
So it's not a coincidence?
It's not a coincidence.
Well,
it gives me...
I hate to disagree with you.
I hate to disagree with you, but I can't admit any of that shit because I'm the spokesperson for HAARP, so I can't tell you what we're actually using it for. It gives me chills, though, because, like, it's crazy that, like, it's funny. It shows how old this is because the guy is, like, typing on a... like old school, like 90s, early 2000s computer.
Late 90s.
Yeah, so it's crazy to me that CBC actually was covering some legit stuff that was going on that could be used against the population, and now they're so propagandized in this crazy way where they like are so manipulated in everything they do, everything they say, and it's just like crazy that money talks, man. You give fucking organization money. When people start to die off and stop listening to them, then, you know, they'll sell their souls. Like, it is just crazy. That's from the CBC. Them talking about, like, the lone gunman and this guy being like, and I agree with what he says, is the military is not capable of conducting scientific experiments because when they conduct scientific experiments, they're using it for application in war.
Let's play a game here. So this podcast gets to a point where you're like, holy fuck, I'm not working anymore.
Yeah,
making a decent living.
Let's hope that happens.
Like, it's modest. It's enough to make a living.
I'll be 40 and I'll be living off.
So somebody gets to that point. Like, at that point, you're making a living. It means, okay, let's say you're taking in like 80K a
year. Yeah.
Somebody walks up to you and goes, "Fuck off your shit. Here's a script. Here's $1 billion." Would you do it though?
Probably not.
Dude,
I don't know. I don't value money.
You don't value, like,
I don't value
your
money
wife down there would fucking slaughter you for not doing it.
Yeah, I don't know if she would, because I don't value money the way that other people do.
It's not valuing money, it's valuing it's what it can do for you. It's not the fact that you just have $1 billion. It's the fact that now you are able to live a life that you never dreamed.
But that's what they sell. And then this life, I have everything that I want. But the next life, I have a fucking, like, a row of reptilians ready to eat the inside of my bumhole. You know, they're just like going to eat it, and I'm going to be like a corpse after.
Well,
I don't want to live
like that too,
lifestyle.
though. But that sounds like a win-win.
A long time.
I don't see anything wrong with either one of us.
As much as, like, maybe when I was a teenager, I would have done that. I don't even know if I would have done that then, but I really don't think I have it in
$1 billion.
What is $1 billion? A bunch of numbers they typed into a computer. Give me a stack of gold.
It's freedom to walk outside and go.
I'm not going to tell you what I would do.
That's my property. That's my land. Yeah. These are my people.
Cool.
I got my jet.
So I'm a fucking cult leader.
I get to. You can be if you want. I probably would be.
Give me $1 billion in gold, and I will disappear.
Exactly.
A gold. There has to be gold. Can't be cash. Can't be fucking digital currency.
Give you $1 billion in gold.
We're not going to get there anyway because I'm going to be fighting for my life.
Let's say they do it.
Gold? Yeah, I'll disappear though. I'll say I'm going to do the show just so everyone knows.
No, you're going to do the show and you're going to do it. And you're going to do it to their agenda. You're going to slowly change your opinions.
Just like the CBC.
You got $1 billion in gold.
$600 million a year. I think it's something like that. Something ridiculous.
That's fucking insane.
I know that the liberals, our money paid for propaganda. This is why I hate taxes, man. Taxation is theft. They can use it for whatever they want, and then we just go along with it. And I'm not saying anything, but the biggest thing that needs to change is people need to stop that. Stop giving your government money for stuff that you don't agree with. It is war. Billions of dollars for war that could feed this entire country. Blows my mind, man, that people are still stuck on that shit. You could feed and clothe and home every single goddamn citizen of this planet with the amount of money that they've spent on war, trillions of dollars, and like the $4 trillion that went missing after 9/11. $4 trillion went missing into the black budget. And I get animated because it's crazy that happened in 2001 and people don't care. Trillions of dollars. It's like nobody gives a shit, man. And remember, since that time of the patent, in which Alaska is mentioned several times as the ideal location because it's probably close to the firmament barrier, but it's close to the idea. It's close enough to the poles, right?
Yeah,
so they can shift stuff. The government fully acknowledges that it has built a massive array of antennas in Alaska with the capability of disturbing the ionosphere exactly as described in Eastland's patent. If it's crazy because they have a patent on COVID, they have a patent on HIV, they have a patent on the flu, they have a patent on all these diseases also. But if HAARP was only used in the north-south beams, then the electrons and protons in the ionosphere would race madly in the north-south direction, so the way the frequencies end up going. And likewise, if a radio waves moved east-west direction, so with the ions, these particles that they can move and manipulate. What HAARP does is each portion of the transmitter cycle is switches from east to west, north to south beams back again. So they're using these radio waves back and forth to manipulate the ionosphere, and they're admitting that they're using it to manipulate our like sky, our weather, our everything, right? If you could see a radio waves rising from the antennas, they would appear to be spiraling or corkscrewing upwards. This is what forklift, if you're a forklift driver, like up, down, like you even know what I'm doing. This is called circular polarization of radio signals. This is not uncommon since all commercial FM stations use circular polarizations to send horizontal signals from home roof antennas to vertical signals in automobile antennas. It's so crazy.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. I
understand. Get it to an extent. Is the idea of them using satellite, but then there's
even that. No, but no, you're saying you don't get. I'm not saying I don't get the idea. I'm saying I don't get how it works at all.
It's frequencies that are bouncing.
You already lost it. That doesn't make sense.
We're all frequencies, man. Earth is a frequency. Our bodies vibrate. There's vibrations and everything, right? Do mushrooms, you'll see.
Maybe the aliens gave us all this.
They did. When at the wedding, my cousin's wife. I haven't seen my cousin in a while, and he was on the very first one of the very first episodes we talked about.
Was that him? Oh, okay.
When I very first started this, I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do with it. I was trying to have people on that I knew would be interesting, but he's at the time smoked too much cigarettes and was just fiending for a cigarette within a half an hour of us recording. My grandparents' old house before when they were alive. Actually, I think they were dead at this point. But like. I've always had good conversations with his girlfriend, his wife, essentially. And we were talking about like how I was like, and she can see it that mushrooms have changed my life and stuff like that, right? And that it's cannibalism because supposedly our DNA is so close to fungi, which is weird, that it's like cannibalism. But there's the idea that Terrence McKenna was part of the CIA, but yeah, I know I'm gonna eat you, bro.
No, don't eat me.
But Terrence McKenna probably was part of the CIA, but he did say that like the idea of that fungi and mushrooms and stuff was probably brought from an asteroid, from somewhere outside of where we live. But then the flat earthers are like, well, we live in a dome.
So there's nothing that can possibly come in.
I know. I don't fucking know anything.
You want to? Oh my God. I hate to do a quick fucking random side thing, but fucking Robin told me the coolest fucking thing ever the other day. She was watching this documentary on dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Do you know much about dinosaurs?
I don't think they existed.
Okay, so on the complete opposite end of that, they basically, and she was telling me this, I was like, how do they know that? And I was like, there's no fucking way they know that. So apparently dinosaurs were real and then extinct 4 separate occasions.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, what the fuck? First one was like a tsunami or whatever. I don't fucking remember the actual details of it.
The
but like
meteorite hitting it.
That was the last one. Yeah. That was the final one. And then like not only that, but it basically like starved them of oxygen, right? But like the whole idea, like they went so in depth of all the different times it went. Where I really,
it's the Netflix one.
Yeah.
I said I don't trust that new one, but David Attenborough.
I really just thought about it though. Like, nevertheless, that's the coolest fucking story ever. But how do you know that?
See, this is what my problem is.
How did you find that out?
And I've said this on the show that I was at the bar once when I worked at the restaurant, and my buddy Chance was talking to this girl, and she was sitting on his lap, and we were fucking wasted. This was like after Chili Willy or whatever. There's like Chili Fest, and we were done by 3. So we proceeded to go to the bar across the street and just get obliterated drunk, and then go back to the bar that we work from, and we're just out of our mind. We drove home. It's too far.
That's a fun sentence to say.
It's too far. I didn't drive. I'm not saying, and you don't know who
you
my
said.
buddy
We.
Is. But it was a crazy experience in time. It was many, many, many years ago. And it was just, we made it home alive. Everything went as it should, because I have angels watching over me or whatever, spiritual guides. But there was this chick, she's like, dinosaurs, she was very Christian or some shit. She said dinosaurs didn't exist. And my buddy Chance just like pushed her off his lap and was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, you are a crazy, crazy lady. He was like, you're fucking lucky. And he's like, and she's like, what? And he's like, well, I was going to bring you home, but not anymore, or whatever. And I've researched it.
I was going to bring you home, but not anymore.
And I did a video on this recently where I haven't released it yet, but I was like, this whole idea of the green energy thing is obviously a scheme for authoritarianism under the guise of safety and to save the planet. I don't think dinosaurs could have existed. Who knows? Whatever, right? I don't think that oil is fossil fuels. I don't think that it's dinosaur bones. Because imagine like healthcare in the ways, listen to this. Imagine if you had a product, right, that could run out. So you could upcharge it every single year, every single couple months, whatever, right? That you saying, well, we're going to run out eventually. So we need to push along this agenda.
Make it as expensive as humanly possible.
Exactly. Meanwhile, they have, and I know this for a fact. Whatever, you can say whatever you want, but I know they have 300 years worth of oil reserves. They're lying. They have so much oil that they've drilled, and there's only certain places that refine the oil. And I don't know. I think it's all very sketchy. I've always thought that oil is like the blood of the earth. I've said this since I was a teenager. The idea that this thing, it replenishes, like nature is replenished. Trees grow back leaves. I was thinking about this, a tree out back that always waves to me when I'm on mushrooms. It's at least what it feels like.
It's always the same one.
But it looks like a skeleton when it's dead. And I said to my wife or whatever, I was like, I last year I was like tripping. It's now saying that, but it looks like it's like a skeleton. When I'm on mushrooms, it looks like the tree is a skeleton, like it's like half alive, but still living, right? Mm-hmm. And this idea that it loses all of its life. Some it's still living, but dormant, almost standing still in time until it can regrow the leaves and come back to life and replenish itself, right? So I do think that I think they have a lot of oil. I think that oil can be replenished. I think that it's not based on fossil fuels, because if you sell people the idea that it's based on all these dinosaurs that have died over these millions of years ago, that we're going to run out eventually. So you have to go with this green technology that also needs oil and diesel and all these other things that we've been using for centuries to run.
Well, that's why you use hydro.
Yeah, or nuclear. You know, and then just if it goes wrong, you shove it into the ocean. You create Godzilla.
Okay.
And the idea of like there is
hydro.
I know, but the wind turbines kill birds and kill trees.
It doesn't kill trees.
It does. You have to destroy it if you want to.
Just find a place that's already destroyed.
If you wanted to create a wind farm, you need to kill all the surrounding trees. Yeah. And then it kills thousands of birds, man. All these birds just like running into
birds will fuck me up, though. Birds are fine.
They're according to some people, they're not real. They're CIA created things that listen to our conversation.
Lovely. Anyways, we got way off track there. Carry on.
It's part of all of it.
That's part of HAARP.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's all part of the manipulation of your consciousness, man.
Dinosaurs.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you think they existed? I don't know anymore. Really?
Yes.
Why is every dinosaur that you see in a museum is not real bones? They keep them locked away because they would fall apart if you put them together.
Those bones would be decayed by now anyway.
I'm
not saying we found and know the species of what they all were.
They're not matching up the way they're saying.
No fucking way. That I'll agree with. But I do believe dinosaurs exist.
Reptilians exist, that's for sure.
How are you like? It's amazing how opinionated you are for reptilians, and you can't even like fathom dinosaurs.
No, I think that dinosaurs could exist
for sure, and they all had feathers.
And yeah, they could have had feathers.
They would have. They're birds
because we still have Komodo dragons and stuff like that, which is like fascinating creatures that are very intelligent and scary looking.
I love them. I like the Komodo dragon.
Dudley the dragon.
Anyways, fucking
electromagnetic weapons packed with an invisible wallop of hundreds times more powerful than the electrical currents in a lightning bolt. So this is the idea of what this weapon could be used to do, is create massive storms. And recently there has been some crazy storms going on in the world. And so, one blast of an enemy's missile out of the sky.
Okay.
Another could be used to blind soldiers on the battlefield. Still another to control the unruly crowd by burning the surface of their skin. If detonated over a large city, an electromagnetic weapon could destroy all electrons in seconds. Like electronics in seconds, which I do believe is possible. They would use all direct energy to create a powerful magnetic pulse. It goes because that's what people are afraid of. They're conspiracy theories, and it's crazy. Direct energy, and then they call them DEWs, direct energy weapons, is such a powerful technology. It could be used to heat up the ionosphere to turn weather into a weapon of war. Imagine using a flood to destroy a city, or tornadoes to decimate an approaching army in the desert. The military has spent a huge amount of time on weather modification as a concept of battle environments. If an electromagnetic pulse went off over a city, basically all the electronic things in your home would wink and go out, and it would be permanently destroyed forever. For those still doubting that such devastating secret weapons could be developed, here is intriguing quotes from an article in New Zealand's leading newspaper. I did want to mention those quotes were from two quotes from a History Channel's documentary. Okay. Here's one from New Zealand, which is all I know from New Zealand is they filmed Lord of the Rings there,
and they herd sheep a lot.
Top secret wartime experiments were conducted off the coast of Auckland to perfect.
You gotta do a New Zealand accent. Almost Australia.
Shrimp on the barbie. Top secret wartime experiments were conducted off the shores coast of Auckland. I'm not gonna be able to perform a tidal wave bomb. Declassified files reveal. United States Defense Chief said that if the project had been completed before the end of the war, it could have played a role as effective as an atom bomb. Details of a tsunami bomb known as Project SEAL are contained in 53-year-old documents released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Shrimps on the barbie. If the military secretly developed a weapon which could be used to cause a tsunami over half a century ago, what kind of advanced deadly weapons might be available now? And why is it a general public? Why is the general public still doesn't know about the secret weapons developed about 50 years ago?
You're really fucking bad at that.
Understand why the media isn't covering up these highly critical issues. Clearly, the military has the capability to cause tsunamis and likely to cause earthquakes and hurricanes as well. It is time for us to take action and spread the word on this viral topic.
The word of Jesus.
Jesus, please anoint me of all my sins. Hopefully you're not just a made-up guy that was based off of every other fucking the Krishnas and every fucking other guy.
Oh, stop. That's not what this is.
According to HAARP projects, it will perturb the ionosphere. Perturbed. The ionosphere. I'm drinking a lot of scotch. If I drink a quarter of this bottle. Perturbed. Is that not how you would say that? To perturb the ionosphere with extreme powerful beams of energy using to polarize and pulsate radio frequencies transmission to perform experiments which include devising methods to destroy communication capabilities of others. So the idea is obviously it's going to destroy communication abilities. Yeah.
Perturb makes someone anxious or unsettled. They were perturbed by her.
Yeah, to like stop people if
technical,
if
a subject,
something
a subject.
happens, then
Oh, never mind. Technical, a subject, a system, moving object or process to influence trending to alter its normal or regular state or path. Nuclear weapons could be used to perturb the orbit of the asteroids. Oh, okay. It's like, there's no fucking way.
Look at this shit, though. Look at it. Look at it right now. Why? Why do they have this? Do you know what I mean? It is fucking strange. If this is all conspiracy theory, a term used to discredit people. Billy is drinking a fucking
Caesar.
It's only 9. I thought it was like 10. I was like, Caesars are good.
Dude, Caesars are fucking delicious.
I love an extra spicy.
You say it's only 9. What's only 9?
It's only 9. 9.
Oh, it's fucking 9. Jesus. I thought it was 10. So 10. That makes a difference. You can drink Caesars at 9, but not at 10.
I like Caesars. I'm surprised. You're always with your main fucking mainstream beer with you.
Well, I pick them up from your fucking no good shop down the street that has like 4 different types of beers and a fucking lady that doesn't have any of her teeth and go, how can I help you? Buddy lives in the fucking butt fuck nowhere.
I'm glad. I want to go further out. I want to go live
this is
in
enough.
Alaska.
This is fucking enough. You want to go live in Alaska?
I don't. It's too cold.
It's too fucking cold. Yeah, I know.
But hey, according to all these globalists, we're gonna have global warming. It's all gonna be so hot, it'll be unbearable.
I hope so. Fuck, I'd love that.
You remember Michi Hari? I saw people that were downloading the Strange Japanese Legends episode, and that's with Mitch. I'd hope to have him back on one day because he's probably some of the funniest people that I've met. Billy can attest to that. He's a funny dude. He's a strange fellow.
I just realized I didn't get a chance to talk to him much the other night.
At the wedding?
Yeah. I talked to him a little bit, but not much.
He danced with us all night. That guy can fucking dance.
I did a little bit. Fuck. I forgot to fucking
stomping.
That boon stomping motherfucker, eh?
I like for all the fans, obviously you guys know.
Tell him at a wedding and it was fucking wonderful.
Fucking
it was great.
Fun. So fun watching everybody dance and get wild because I was definitely like starting to get buzzed in it. And I was like, this is awesome. We had a photo booth.
I never got any credit, by the way.
Where's your credit?
You know how hard it was for me to not say shit you told me not to say.
Everyone else.
That's all I want. That's all I wanted to do.
Can I say my dad had the best speech. My dad had one of the best speeches. And I didn't think that
I could have had a better one, but I was told to not talk about a lot of shit.
I already mentioned the podcast. He said that I whipped buttons at him that I totally forgot about. But it's crazy because I don't fucking know. I never knew if I wanted to get married, and it was a big celebration, and it was tons of fun. And people have definitely seen the photos if you follow the Instagram and stuff like that.
I actually just saw that the other day. You had the fucking video. I don't even fucking really remember doing it. I was so drunk. I
It was
so
fun.
fucking drunk.
You were on the dance floor more than I was because I was pulled in so many different directions. Where everyone's like, "Come have a cigar outside. Come do this. Come do that." And I was like, it went by like that. I think about all the time how fast
it was a
life
fast
goes
night.
by. So just enjoy yourself. Don't be afraid of all these weapons that are being used to manipulate us, or maybe do and rise above.
White boys got moves though.
I can dance. It's the same dance. I noticed that. I was like, Mitch was getting in there with those like chicken wings. You know, like he dance, he'd just do a little chicken wing dance. But like, I'm all feet. I just like, my brother took a video of us dancing, all of us, and I was like, it's a lot of feet work. Just like I dance all the time. Man.
Actually, you know what? This is kind of cute. If anyone actually listens to this point, wants to be involved in lives, I call her my wife. She's not yet.
Wife?
She's my girlfriend.
I have to be your best
I love
man.
her, my wife.
Talked about this.
You're gonna be. Anyways,
I'm just getting kind of drunk.
If you're listening right now, I'd like you to please post the video of my speech to Tom's Instagram.
Does she have it?
Yeah, she recorded mine.
Sick. I've been wanting people because only we had somebody record some stuff on video. And I actually
look, she's obsessed with me, obviously, because I'm like perfect. So like it's hard not to be.
I'm in love with you too, Billy.
I know. It's fucking, dude, can you imagine living a life and like everybody just fucking like it's exhausting.
Okay, everybody tell Billy without him, this podcast doesn't exist the way that it does. We all know this.
Oh, you're cute.
I mean this. Aaron has been AWOL for a bit. He's got too much fucking shit going on, and he's coming back very soon. We have big plans for Aaron. But he's been like, and I was like, if it was just me and him, I would be fucked. I love you, bro, but I would be fucked. I wouldn't know what, like, Brett kind of bridges that barrier.
A little bit, yeah.
And stuff like that, where I can like, you want to come over and smoke cigars and we'll just talk about some shit. But you are the glue that holds this podcast together.
You're welcome, and I'd like my royalties when
you will. When we eventually do it. The fans love you. Everyone loves you, man. And
oh, you're cute.
And so we're gonna like bring this slowly to a close because this is kind of fun. But
we got another video, don't we?
We do have another video, but so this is the craziest shit. So I've been drinking a lot of scotch tonight. I'm enjoying myself. And you know what my plan is tonight? Halloween is never over for me. Chelsea hasn't seen Beetlejuice all the way through.
Okay.
So we started the other night, and tonight we're finishing it.
Such
a fun film.
I don't think I've watched that all the way through either. Yeah.
Daylight comes and me want to go home. I said that.
Why do I feel like my fucking wife's gonna make me do that?
Beetlejuice is fucking amazing, man. The Alaska location was particularly picked for the alignment with the Earth's magnetic force lines. And that's why me and Brett kind of mentioned the idea of I don't trust Billy. Where they put Masonic lodges is on ley lines, which eventually should be an episode. We'll talk about ley lines and stuff like that. It's interesting stuff. Military experiments with the magnetosphere appears to be planned. And again, the scientists warn of the possibility of dire consequences, including setting the Earth into an unexpected vibration or oscillation like a fan. Like, you know how a fan moves? Mm-hmm. Or similar to the axis.
Oh, I fucking know how fan. Oh my fucking god! Do you sleep with a fan?
Yes, I love it. I can't sleep in silence. My brain eats itself.
What if you have TV on?
I don't watch TV. That's bad. Not good. Vibrations.
The fan isn't vibrations.
The TV, what you're hearing, can manipulate your thoughts within inside your dreams. White noise can actually help you sleep because it's just a frequency.
No, I have no problem with the noise. I have a problem with wintertime. A fan being blown on me.
Get what I have. You remember the thing I brought to the hotel?
No, I'm fine with that. That's cool.
Just like
pure winter. You're fucking freezing. You turn on a fan, you blow it right on your fucking
Robin
face.
Watching?
Yes.
I agree with you. Fuck
fan you.
Is fine. Turn up the heat, and then so Chelsea turns up the heat too much, where then I'm hot as shit, and then I can have some fucking wind.
She's like, oh, every night before I go to bed, I'm like, it's fucking 21 in our goddamn house. We have horrible fucking, like, every window in my
insulated.
Every window in my goddamn place is like from the 1910s, and I feel cold breezes coming in when it's negative fucking 20. And she's like, hey, don't forget to turn on the AC unit. And I'm like,
AC is one thing.
Well, I called it. I called a fan the AC.
It's a fan, man. If your fan is blowing hot air, it is fucking
It's
hot.
not. It's fucking cold.
So let's get into this. So this is the craziest aspect of this. The capability of influencing and even controlling human emotion has been studied by the military and the intelligence services of the world for many decades. We will eventually get into MK Ultra. And we will eventually do, animated, Charles Manson. I want to cover Charles Manson. I've said it for fucking years because the CIA, but there's got to be this way where I can conduct it in a way where it's a part, or it's got to be at least 2 parts, maybe 3. But because the way you come every other week, and it has to be done in a right way. It will come in the future, but specifically to the idea of MK Ultra and the things of manipulating us.
Okay.
So for a concise informational packed description of such programs with links to the classified CIA documents and verifications, it says click here. I shouldn't have added that, which is just funny that I read it on purpose. One thoroughly researched book titled Mind Controllers, described as an effective method of remotely influencing human emotion. Here's the key quotes from this revealing book. With the use of powerful computers, segments of the human emotion, which include anger and anxiety, sadness, fear, embarrassment, jealousy, resentment, shame, terror, have all been identified and isolated within the EEG signals as emotional signature clusters. Their relevant frequencies and amplitudes have been measured. This very frequency and amplitude clusters is synthesized and stored on another computer. Each one of these negative emotions is properly and separately tagged. They then place a silent sound carrier frequencies that could silently trigger the occurrence of the same basic emotion in other human beings. So they can use these frequencies to target certain emotions and amplify those said emotions in human beings.
That's fucking crazy.
And it's scary.
That's fucking crazy.
Using HAARP's powerful broadcast capabilities, and with each realm of possibility that is powerful antennas like HAARP and major facilities elsewhere could triangulate on an exact location anywhere in the world and send highly intensified frequencies matching the emotional signature of the desired emotion to produce anger or any other desired emotion in a group of people, as the human mind naturally maintains a strong frequency around it. So we're actually getting close to the ending of this, because it is crazy that people get radicalized. I always use that word because they do. People get like, I have to fight for my cause.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And I'm sure that there is humans like myself.
Well, you got to fight for your cause.
Who knows? But that can disrupt these frequencies. I've never been rah for anything other than conspiracy.
Pardon the fuck me?
Other than conspiracy against, anything against the government. But
that's your fight, though.
I know, it is.
It's the same thing. It's
but
the
I'm
same fucking thing.
I know, but I'm not being bomb these people because of this.
You've literally said, and I will quote this word for word: anyone who doesn't think like that should die.
You're lying.
I am not.
Billy's lying. He's lying. That's not true. He's lying.
I am not.
I've never said that human beings should die, man.
It was a joke, of course.
I know it was a joke.
But I do
Your
know
whole
that
life is a joke, man.
Probably.
When I look at you, I see jokes.
See, he's fucking coming at me because he's scared I'm right.
You fucking Jared Leto Joker? Huh? You didn't make it so far in the franchise. I'm having a lot of fun. It's funny because I thought this would be way more serious, but after the scotch I've had, I'm like, man, let's just have fun, man.
Fuck it.
Let's just have fun. There is so much information about this. The abstract patents. There's all patents for all these weaponing systems that they have. So below are the list of objects of the inventions in this patent. All these patents that have circulated of what they could use HAARP for. To provide a technique for producing a subliminal presentation which is inaudible to the listeners, yet is perceived and decoded by the ear by using the subconscious mind, which they do in movies, where they can, there's things within the stuff you watch and listen to that only your subconscious is triggered by. And people have proven that this is true. So to provide a technique for producing inaudible subliminal presentations to which music or other foreground programming may be added if desired. In other words, the subliminal messaging could be inserted into your TV and radio waves without awareness of the listener or viewer. I feel like this is why I catch certain things. I'm honestly going to contribute to mushrooms. There's a weird thing about the way that it breaks down your mind. I was watching one time, I was like tripping balls, and I was watching Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. Some of my favorite of the whole franchise. It's worth watching. It's funny. And I truly believe that we are the Jay and Silent Bob of podcasting world. Just one's not so silent. I would be the Silent Bob. You know how Silent Bob?
Well, that's just a figure.
You know how he always, like, every time he needs to say something, he gets angry and he grabs Jay and he's like, "You stupid fuck." You know, I feel like that's sometimes with us. You know, that I need to tell you something. It's always me telling you something, you know? You get it?
I see it. It's just it's a little different, but yeah.
I'm the chubby, short, bearded fuck, and you are the tall, skinny, like noise. Smoke another blunt, smoke another, like you know. But it's more or less for you. It's drink another beer. Noise. You know. So I feel like I've seen this where I was watching it in Elizabeth. What's her name? She's off. I know her name's Elizabeth. Jay and Silent Bob. She was off of American Pie. She shows her boobs. That's the guy's obsessed with. I'll look it up really quick.
Fuck, I don't know that.
We're at the end of the episode anyway.
Elizabeth?
I know her name is. I'm just gonna look at American Pie. So she's in this movie.
I can search it probably. Oh, you're already on Google.
American Pie. Elizabeth. I know that's your first name. American Pie. Film. Yes, that's what I want. Cast. Where are you? Shannon Elizabeth. So her first name is Shannon. Her last name is Elizabeth. She was on the new one because she was in Jay and Silent Bob as his love interest, right?
Yeah.
And then they find out they have kids or whatever. And I was tripping balls on mushrooms, and her face looked like a lizard. I don't know how mushrooms could do that for people, but it looked like it. She looked like she had like scaly skin while I was tripping. Yeah. No one else did but her. So I feel like I was tapping in to something I shouldn't see. Same thing that happened when I saw James Brown tripping. He's like fucking on drugs, and I'm like, his face is shifting. Who knows? So could it be that these things are manipulating us and broadcasting these frequencies through HAARP? We may never know. The capability of remotely influencing emotions through the use of certain wavelengths has been successfully demonstrated. The implications are huge, yet there is exceedingly little regulations on how this technology is used.
Brand new.
By educating yourselves on this important matter and spreading the word to your friends and colleagues, you may make a difference in the building that necessarily is maybe the momentum to bring others, these matters to light. You know, maybe you will be able to change the world. It's funny because at the end, Jesse Ventura, the former Navy SEAL who turned pro wrestler, only to then become a governor of Minnesota. It's funny that he's the governor.
Oh my God, he's the Arnold Schwarzenegger from Wish.
Yeah. But Arnold Schwarzenegger hates freedom, so.
Do you not see the ridiculous resemblance?
That's very funny.
That was so good.
I know.
That deserves an audible laugh. Fuck you.
All right. He talked about HAARP. So let's bring it to the close of this guy. The conspiracy theorist.
There is a paper trail leading us back to Eastland.
No, there is not. There is no paper trail that I'm.
redo that so we can, because I could add this to the audio, but I gotta unmute the mics because I always remember it.
There is a paper trail leading us back to Eastland.
No, there is
No, there's not.
No.
Definitely not.
There is no paper trail that I'm aware of.
That's what he said.
Leading back to Eastland. Eastland used to be an employee of the company which is building HAARP, but that's pure coincidence.
Is it also a coincidence that the tiny company that owned Eastland's patents was later swallowed up by an enormous military intelligence firm called E-Systems?
2.1 billion in annual sales, 1.8 billion of that with a B was to military intelligence groups, CIA, NSA, and others. And of that, 800 million were black projects, so secret that even the United States Congress didn't know what they were.
E-Systems was then swallowed up by Raytheon Corporation. It too specializes in super secret contracts with the Pentagon.
Why would Raytheon be so excited about this? Well, it's a ground-based Star Wars weapon prototype. For them, it represents potentially billions and billions of dollars.
So how would you describe this world of E-Systems and Raytheon and HAARP?
Dark.
Raytheon. You know how old that shit is? Raytheon controls a lot. Nobody talks about Raytheon ever. Raytheon controls the fucking military industrial complex. They manufacture weapons and the weapon systems that control most of the warring systems in our world. And that's why I'm like not opposed to Vivek Ramaswamy, because he had Alex Jones on recently, but he also talks about Raytheon, and nobody else does. There's not a lot of people that will mention these companies, like even like now, obviously, he's getting exposed. BlackRock, Raytheon, BlackRock. I'm pretty sure BlackRock owns Raytheon now. But there's
I wonder if BlackRock pays well.
It does trillions of dollars.
I want to work there.
But you have to be super woke.
What if I work there?
You have to follow along. You have to become trans. You'll have to cut off your penis, and
I could just lie. I'm a pretty good liar.
He's good at tucking. I've seen it. Billy can tuck it.
He can tuck it.
He can tuck it. I've seen it. Good. Do you have a fucking?
I do.
Fact? It's weird, but I can say we've done a lot of episodes recently. You know,
that was a fun.
I don't know why conspiracies always like gets my goat.
They're more fun. They're more fun.
Wait till we get into the next.
Anyways, carry on.
Shit.
What we got?
It's time for
in Billy's basement where he could scream.
Billy's Fun Fact of the Day.
I actually can't thank you enough for actually recording that because I was so sick. I'm like, I can't do this every fucking time, man.
Screaming
every time. I did that fucking religiously. Anyways, did I ever talk to you about pigeons?
How they're fake and they're government operatives?
No, okay, fuck. I didn't do this one. So pigeons, I feel like I've done this.
You talked about pigeons.
I feel like I might have done this one before, but it's so cool. So pigeons were basically domesticated by humans for like carrier messages and shit, and then we just decided to discard them. So they are basically helpless right now.
Have you ever seen a pigeon baby? Have you ever seen a baby pigeon bird?
Have you ever seen a pigeon nest?
No.
It's horrendous. It's like 3 sticks. They don't know how to live on their own anymore.
Oh,
it's 3 sticks. We domesticated them and then fucking send them back in the wild. They have no fucking clue what they're doing. Is
it like Arkansas?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. Look at the camera, okay? Because the way do I look like a German? No, I'm gonna do that. Do I look like a German? Like a soldier? You know how they have their helmets too tight and they have like the little. Is that what it looks like? You know what I mean?
The little
the World War I Germans, where they have the little spike at the end, because you know why they had that, right? As far as I know, there's a reason behind it.
Why is the little spike?
Because they could beat the shit out of somebody with it. Because it was a weapon. If you have nothing else, you have a sharp fucking thing on the top of your helmet. You can bash the shit out of people. Don't put that on the microphone, you piece of shit.
It's fine.
All right, everybody.
Isn't that cool though?
Yeah, it is cool.
Isn't that cool? They're fucked up now. We domesticated them, then we sent them to the wild, and now they're fucking helpless.
They don't know what to do.
They don't. They have no fucking clue.
I really hope everyone enjoys this show because it's gonna keep becoming better and better as we go. But I want everyone, are you listening right now?
Always.
Go subscribe to my new song. Okay.
Oh, not listening anymore.
All right, go do it.
Just
The
joking.
Great Resist. It's one of my favorite songs
I
I've ever
haven't
listened to
it yet. I'll listen to it on the way home.
It's great. It's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. It definitely displays my emotions based on what I think about the world. This was really fun, but I'm telling you right now, we're getting back into true crime. We need it. I said to fucking Aaron, I was like, when we're
100%.
ready to record again, we have to start getting back into true crime. I miss that shit. We have a bunch of big.
Oh, I'm the
big time.
I'm the fuckboy conspiracist right now.
You do look like you
a
wearing
fuckboy
some
conspiracist.
stupid hat.
Yeah,
this has been a lot of fun.
I like conspiracy.
Go watch
but
it on
I also
YouTube.
Fuck.
I also fuck.
I also fuck.
It is weird. It looks like you're wearing your like hat sideways. Why? Okay, why does this new generation of kids like we wear hats all sorts of stupid ways, but all these kids wear their hats like they're barely on their head. I never did that. My hat was like this, maybe covering my eye a bit. I wear it sideways. There was a joke made about that about the wedding. I had my hat like all sorts of stupid ways, but this shit where it's like barely sitting on your head.
No,
that's
it's
fucking dumb. Throw that out.
I like it. Oh, do I get to throw one on the
I'm
camera?
so glad I threw out the carrot. Throw out the carrot. Can you hit it?
Oh, I missed.
You suck.
I do suck.
All right, everybody, love everybody. Go support my music if you like this show. There is so much more to come. I have been diving so deep into the conspiracy world. Fuck Billy. That was Billy's choice. Fuck Billy.